The US will be one of the last currencies to fail, but ultimately all fiat currencies fail. Canada will fail before the United States. That doesn't make me happy. If Canada adopts the Bitcoin standard before the US does, it would make me so happy because it would be Canada's insurance policy. I don't want the USA to fail. I love the country. I've been to school there. You guys know that story. I love the USA as a bastion of freedom. We need to develop a parallel network. It is called Bitcoin, okay?
Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency, continues to trade at its all-time low for the year. As of press time, the crypto asset is trading at $31,432, a 19.41% decrease over the past week. Bitcoin has also lost around 30% of its price over the past 30 days. At $2,389, Ethereum is also trading at its lowest price in 2022. The native token has lost around 19% in the past week and over 31% in the past month. While crypto haters like Peter Schiff are convinced that this is the end for the world's leading crypto asset, Canadian Bitcoin bull and former fund hedge manager Greg Foss sees something completely different. Foss urges investors to hold their Bitcoin regardless of market condition. He also declares that by the end of 2022, the situation will have significantly improved. Foss describes Bitcoin as the only crypto asset that can protect investors against the fiat Ponzi scheme. He adds that all fiat currencies are going down and only countries that adopt the Bitcoin standard now will survive later. We will now take you to Greg Foss's interview. But before we do, please take a little time to hit the like button and drop your comments and observations in the comment section below. Enjoy the video.
Why, though, do we have people that talk down Bitcoin? The Gary Blacks of the world, an equity clown that came out of Goldman Sachs without understanding credit, who talks down Bitcoin as a long duration tech stock, essentially. Do you think Gary might be short Bitcoin? Do you think Gary might be the guy that's trying to hedge his foolish equity positions with Bitcoin and trying to tell the algos in New York City, hey man, you got to trade this against Bitcoin, because, it's a long duration tech stock. So they program their computers to help Gary Black's thesis come to fruition. The problem is he spent 0 time studying credit, okay? Credit makes the world go round. Credit is why inflation is necessary in a capitalist system, because credit leveraging means the collateral that you've lent money against. As long as there's inflation, the value of that collateral increases and you can leverage that capital. As you know, a bank holds less than $6 of equity absorbing risk capital against a $100 loan. The other $94 comes from depositors' money. So when the CFO of one of Canada's largest institution and one of the top 20 banks in the world says, don't tell anybody, that better open your friggin' eyes. And it did to me in 1988. And I finally found Bitcoin for being what it is. An insurance contract on the fiat Ponzi that starts with banking. It extends to CFOs that don't want you to tell anybody, and it extends to risk managers in Omaha, Nebraska that own all the bank stocks and therefore don't want you to buy your insurance, so they call it evil, okay? Man, oh man, this is just getting even worse by the day as these conflicted old fucks try and talk people into their position. Don't listen to these people. Study the reality of the world. Again, lookingglasseducation.com, proud to be part of that platform. But I like seeing it and I like to pretend I understand what's going on in the markets. And there are times when I think Bitcoin has held up very well in the context of selling of other risk assets. But when does it happen full on? I can only tell you that my time frame for holding Bitcoin is for my entire life. And I think it'll happen within my entire life. Now, that won't be enough for a lot of people out there, but you got to be careful what you wish for, because ultimately you actually want the price of Bitcoin to be held down because you want to buy more of it, okay? And it's not just me, it's people in the world that really need Bitcoin. So it's the less privileged third world countries. So in that respect, I'm not upset about it. I joke, smile. These computers are allowing you to, or algo trading algorithms are allowing you to stack more cheap Bitcoin. But when does it change? All I can tell you is being on stage with Orlando Bravo was an eye-opening experience for me in Miami, because he is a $100 billion private equity fund that has clients that are the biggest asset allocators in the world, sovereign wealth funds from all around the world. And he says they are dying to get in. So that, coupled with Fidelity investment research that shows that there's Bitcoin and then there's shit coins, and Bitcoin is the only digital asset that solves the fiat Ponzi. I think over time, Jeff, it happens.
Foss also shares his experience working with clients as a former fund hedge manager. He notes that investors are always buying when they should be selling and selling when they should be buying. But one thing no one wishes to sell, Foss adds, is Bitcoin because it is a most valuable asset. Though Foss explains that hedge fund managers cannot be wholly blamed for the ongoing sell-off, he points out two ways that might be influencing it.
But here's my experience of being a hedge fund manager, and we used a little bit of leverage, but we were also hostage to redemptions from our clients. And by the way, clients are always selling when they should be buying, and they're always buying when they should be selling. Okay, so they get you to back yourself. It's called the weight of money. It's as your fund gets bigger, you have to add to the same things you've been adding to, which is the Cathie Wood's experience right now. Like, she pushed some of these crazy stocks to unsustainable price to sales multiples just because people were throwing money at her. Okay, at a hedge fund, let's say you use leverage and your margin clerk comes to you and it's 2 p.m. on a trading day, and he says, Foss, we're getting a rush of redemptions. You need to raise 20 million bucks by the end of the day. And you're like, fuck, the only thing there's a bid for is my shorts, okay? Because everybody's short all the same shit. So the only thing that has a bid is the same stuff you're already short, okay? Because you typically short things like the index, because it's easy to short the index. And then you hold individual stocks against the index, and that delta is widening. So then you have to unwind a little bit at uncomfortable levels. The point is, a tap on the shoulder from your margin clerk is not a happy experience. And then you don't sell what you want to, you sell what you can. And sometimes what you sell is your most valuable stuff, which is Bitcoin sometimes. Now, there's not enough Bitcoin in the markets to truly blame that on the selling from the hedge funds. $1 trillion asset in the context of a $900 trillion global US financial assets in total. Bitcoin shouldn't be getting the shit kicked out of it, but it does, because on the one hand, you have the algos, okay? On the other hand, trading the cash settled futures ETF. On the other hand, you have hedge funds that have positions in Bitcoin mining stocks and might be actually short Bitcoin against them, and playing the alpha rather, between the performance of Bitcoin and the performance of the mining stocks. Now, look what the performance of the mining stocks versus Bitcoin has been over the last 3 months. Horrible, right? Bitcoin miners have publicly traded Bitcoin miners have grossly underperformed the performance of Bitcoin. Well, do you think there's some new hedge funds that come out and say, now I'm going to buy Bitcoin miners and I'm going to short Bitcoin itself? All I'm trying to say is you can get hedged and wedged in so many different ways. And when you get that tap on the shoulder from the margin clerk, you're like, oh, for God's sakes, the last thing I needed is to get redeemed when my positions are already working against me. Okay. And that's what causes illiquidity unwinds, or basically, the risk off mentality. You don't sell what you want to, you sell what you can, because guess what? Your client needs 20 million bucks. And if you don't have 20 million bucks, you need to gate your fund. And when you gate your fund, people say, I thought you said your fund was liquid and you gated it. Now I can't get my money back. So you don't have a business anymore because you just gated your hedge fund. Okay. And it is just a big circular, I'm not going to use the word, but I guess I have to. It's circle jerk, right? It's fucking everyone's sitting around the table trying to outsmart everybody else in terms of this big circle jerk. And that's what happens in the trading markets on a daily basis. But you stretch that out over the longer term, Jeff. Fidelity believes that it's insurance. I believe it's credit insurance on a basket of fiat currencies. When you own insurance, you own a long volatility asset. When you're short credit, you are long volatility, which means as vol increases over time, that should make Bitcoin more valuable, not less valuable. But in the interim, all these other dynamics are coming into play. So to summarize, I will give a target, but not a time, or I will give you a time, but not a target. Okay, I'm going to give you a time, but not a target. By the end of 2022, it will be better. Is that fair? It will be better. I'm not saying it'll totally unwind, but it will be better. That's my, and then if you say how long until it unwinds, until there really is a negative correlation between the NASDAQ and your insurance, I'm, within my kid's lifetime. I know it's going to be way shorter than that, but look, don't back me into a corner, people. Yeah. I know you're not trying to, Jeff. Try and extend your time horizon. You got to chill out. You got to be happy that you can purchase insurance at extremely cheap levels, as you've already pointed out. And then my tagline, don't overthink this, people. It's a rounding error in the context of the bigger picture. Don't get too fancy. DCA, dollar cost average when the price is going up, dollar cost average when the price is going down. I'll talk to you guys in 20 years.
That is a great piece of advice from Greg Foss. Don't panic, but keep your eyes on the long-term potential of Bitcoin and other crypto assets. This is exactly what El Salvador is doing under President Nayib Bukele. According to a recent tweet from the president, El Salvador has once again bought the dip, scoping up 500 more Bitcoin amid the heady crypto market sell-off. Altogether, El Salvador now has 2,301 Bitcoin. El Salvador bought the dip, President Bukele announced in a tweet on May 9, 2022. 500 coins at an average USD price of $30,744, the tweet continues. What do you think about Foss's interview, and how do you plan to weather the ongoing storm as a crypto investor? Please let us know what you think by dropping your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.